We're really growing, we're really developing a community, a strong brotherhood, a strong group of men. Something that the world doesn't see too often. The world doesn't see great black men, especially young black men, coming together for anything other than the negative aspects of our culture. My whole point in putting these meetings together is to show the people and show the world that we're not a monolith. We're not all the same. And even the people who come from the lowest of the low, the circumstances that have the most negative impact, the streets, the hood, right? And it's a lot of dudes out here who are willing to grow. They want to grow, but they don't have the space in the community, in the leadership, in the brotherhood in order to really facilitate that. And when I was growing up in the hood, I wanted to be a gangbanging nigga. I wanted to be from East Haven. I wanted to be a blood. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. The moment that I was able to move out of the hood and I was put in an environment where that is not what my community demanded of me, I was able to truly find myself. I had my ups and my downs, my trials and my tribulations, but I was able to, at bare minimum, be in a environment where my community did not expect me to crash out. My community did not expect me to become something that I wasn't, right? My community didn't expect me to rob. It didn't expect me to kill. It didn't expect me to sell drugs. It didn't expect me to disrespect women. It didn't expect me to lay my life on the line for a block that we don't even own. You get what I'm saying? So when you take someone out of a negative environment and put them in a positive environment, their ability for growth increases exponentially, right? But when you keep someone at the bottom, when you keep someone in circumstances where the expectation and the culture does not allow for them to truly find who they are and truly find a greater purpose or a greater idea that they can then wrap their goals around, you're condemning them to death or prison. That's the reality of the hood. This is why I shit on the streets. This is why I shit on the hood. I don't shit on the people, but I shit on the circumstances because I understand. I've seen so many people with great potential, God-given abilities and talents that could have taken them and put them in the greatest circumstances that there are, that we can even conceive of. But I've seen people like that. I've seen their lives ruined because they have to uphold a certain standard or because the culture says that certain things are acceptable that shouldn't be acceptable. I've witnessed it with my own two eyes. I've lived it. I've experienced it. I've sat around it. I've been around it. I've grown up around these individuals. So I understand that if you can put men like that, just even if it's just for 2 hours, even if it's just 30 minutes, if you could give them something in that 30 minutes, that hour, 2 hours to latch onto, to then internalize and become through that one thing that they learn, they add that to their character, right? So now when they go back to that set of circumstances, they now have a little more balance. It's not 50-50. The scales are not completely even. The scales are still tipping more on the negative, but you give them just that little piece of advice, that little gem, that small idea that they're able to hold on to when they go back to the circumstances that they come from. Eventually they'll be able to build and they'll be able to climb. They'll be able to climb the ladder. And instead of having a crabs in a barrel mentality, right, as the crabs try to grab that man as he's coming up, he'll now have one little skill, that one move that might be able to allow him to break free. And that's the whole point of these growth and development meetings. So this is the shit your father should have taught you. This is the stuff you should have learned from the men in your family, but most of us grow up in single parent households. So I don't blame you if you didn't get this level of game, but I'm telling you, join the Telegram group. Join the Telegram. The link is in my bio. Real life game.